Hey, what's going on, guys? aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 35 today for the Italian Grand Prix in Season 2. And speaking of the Italian Grand Prix, guys, you know, recently I went to the F1 Fan Festival in Milan and also got to go into the F1 paddock on Thursday to interview Charles Leclerc and Marcus Ericsson, all thanks to my new esports team, Veloce. Well, they've launched a brand new YouTube channel quite recently, and they've uploaded a brand new video with a bit of a visual vibes, really cool artsy video about our time there in Milan and in the F1 paddock to do with the, obviously, Alfa Romeo Sauber esports team. So be sure to go check that out. There'll be a link in the top line of the description, also an annotation in the top right here of this video. Be sure to check it out. Also subscribe over to their channel because there'll also be some content involving yours truly coming to the channel very, very soon, and we've got some big plans for the channel, so check it out there and get subscribed. And you know what? I think it'd be quite funny if you go to that video and put in the comments below that I sent you there. I think that'd be quite funny to see the entire comment section just spammed with you guys saying that I sent you to that video. So I'd really appreciate if you guys would do that. Obviously, that's my brand new esports team, so it would mean a real big deal if you guys could do that for me. So yeah, appreciate that. But let's go into then the rest of the episode then for the Italian Grand Prix here. Of course, if you did miss the last one at the Belgian Grand Prix, that was a huge episode. You know, a 65 place grid penalty and a lot of issues there. I'm hoping we have a smoother time this race weekend here at Italy. Obviously, the home race for our engine supplier Ferrari, and we're hoping that to kind of cause an upset here in Milan and try and beat them maybe to their own game. But Red Bull may look likely to also challenge us. But to be fair, our car, you can see on the performance chart there, is looking very, very strong these days. You know, we made that big leap forward with the ultimate upgrade on the tyre wear. We've also had 2 engine updates now to the actual fuel efficiency and the ERS power as well. There's not really much else to discuss there. You can see the midfield all kind of equalised there. Force India ahead of Mercedes, ahead of McLaren, and ahead of Renault. Sauber, though, actually, let's quickly note on them, catching Renault even further. So soon, within 2 races' time by the Russian Grand Prix, that could be legitimately a 5-place midfield fight with Sauber included right there for the taking. And so that's going to be really exciting to see how that develops as we go on to the end of this season and into potentially the next one. But let's get into qualifying then and see how we do around one lap around Monza.
The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
So thankfully this time around in qualifying, no kind of electrical fault system that'll keep me in the garage. No rain as well forecast for the entire weekend, so should be a bit of a smoother time here at Italy, hopefully. But obviously you saw they're sliding into turn 1 literally, so we're on extreme low wings. I think I'm running 3.3 here, which is pretty low for me because usually I like to be very comfortable in the corners, and so this is way more extreme than I'm used to around Monza. And I can kind of tell the car just about can handle it, but doesn't really like it any lower, and the car will just handle horribly. Obviously maybe others of you can control that, but I just personally do not feel comfortable with any lower than 3.3. But we do make it into Q2. We have some confidence to find, especially under braking into turn 1 and also just general the turning of it. You know, the lower wings do help out massively on the straighter at Monza. Of course, a lot of it is just straight, but I'm still trying to find the kind of uber confidence I need under braking and kind of, you know, in that last bit when you're just about turning to the corner and you can feel the lack of downforce because of the setup there, but you're just trying to make it through and survive the corner because you know you're going to gain dividends time then on the straight. So we go across the line then, and we do eventually make it in, and we do find the confidence there on that lap. That's a pretty damn decent lap there to be ahead of Magnus, and you can see the 2 Force Indias are looking pretty damn strong though. Sergio Perez there in second place, only behind Sebastian Vettel, but Ferrari surprisingly looking very, very strong, and Red Bull on the back foot. Obviously, despite Red Bull being second place in the performance standings, Red Bull obviously still lacking some engine power and maybe a bit more drag, and Ferrari, despite being third, they still have the overall best power unit on the grid, I think, and still overall are kind of there with it in a straight line with the aerodynamics as well. So I expect them to be strong. I expect Red Bull to maybe struggle a little bit here, but I'm surprised, genuinely surprised about how strong Force India are. Mercedes are way off it, and Force India are the lead Mercedes team, which is still very, very odd to say considering they weren't there, you know, a couple episodes ago. But anyway, we do our first flying lap there. You saw it was an okay time, but not anything to kind of amazing to shout about, and we'll probably go down the order as we go through. So trying to gain some time now on our second flying lap. You can see I was a bit more cautious into that first turn on that second lap, and it worked out there because on the exit I gained more time of the chicane, and by the time we come through to the end of the lap there, you see I'm red actually as we go on to the end. So I've only gained about maybe 1 or 2 tenths here on this lap so far, but I lost it all there through Ascari, and so Parabolica is my last chance to gain back that 1/10 maybe that I lost there through Parabolica. A little bit wide, but it's okay enough, only 1 tyre off on the white line, and so we go across the line. It will eventually be then P3 behind Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon. Yes, it's a 1-2 lockout for Force India here at Monza. That is crazy. The Force India seems to be an absolute monster in a straight line and is using that to good benefit there to lock out the front row. Vettel's down to P4, my teammates down the order, and the Red Bulls also off the pace there. So, I mean, my teammate's way off the order. I don't know what on earth went on with him. I don't know if he got blocked on his lap or whatever, but P10 there, we're P3, so we've done the job thoroughly over Magnussen. It's a nice change, because remember, he has gotten like 2 poles over us there, so it's not exactly pole position, but it's good to be kind of there in qualifying for once against him, because I'm definitely not much of a qualifier, and so good to find the confidence there through that session. So let's go on to the race. I suspect with 2 Force Indies in first and second, it's going to be a very interesting afternoon for sure around Monza on Sunday. So let's go to the intro and see how we do.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Raikkonen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the engineer. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. A fantastic effort from Esteban Ocon yesterday puts him on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have the engineer, Vettel, Lewis Hamilton and Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Leclerc, Verstappen and Kevin Magnussen, Alonso, Bottas, Carlos Sainz and Van Dorn, Hülkenberg, Ericsson, Pierre Gasly and Sergei Sorokin. Stroll and Brendan Hartley rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So no penalties here on the grid, it looks like. So it really is going to start off with a 1-2 for Force India to the 5 red lights. Still bonkers. Massive progress Force India have made as a team. And they're still going post-patch. And they look to maybe even be catching us top 3 teams. We're not careful. So let's see how it goes in this one then. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes then with them. But obviously using the engine and the low drag to good effect here. It is going to be a 1-stop, it looks like. Pretty simple. Super soft to medium tyre. And I don't know, maybe potentially if you go long enough for super softs, we could go 1-stop with a set of soft tyres. We'll have to see, but for now should be pretty straightforward. No rain thankfully for us today as well, so it's all just about the dry time pace there. So here we go then to 5 red lights to the Italian Grand Prix, round number 16 of season 2 of career mode. 5 red lights are out and we're underway, and it's a good getaway from the Mexican on the right hand side. Sergio Perez up into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Ocon, poor start off pole. We're going to cover off Sebastian Vettel into turn 1. Vettel round our outside, and it's already been a contact there between the Force Indias. So is the modelling going to be realistic? They made some contact in the real life Singapore Grand Prix, and ultimately Ocon went out of that race. Let's see, the Force Indians definitely have already made some more contact then as we go down the curve towards the second chicane, and Ocon is trying to come back at his teammate there round the outside. The 2 Force Indians having an absolute ding-dong battle, absolutely amazing stuff, and Ocon back into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Perez has a look down the inside, doesn't make it through, and he has to slow down, and ultimately we have to also check in behind him. But as we move on then through the laps. At the end of lap 1 onto lap 2, we're closing still, but the Force Indians are still at it. Look at that there. Still 2x2. Behind is then obviously us, Vettel. You can see the Red Bull of, I think that's Ricciardo, maybe a Mercedes car. And then there's a bit of a gap then to my teammate who's fighting Kimi Räikkönen at the moment. So we're breaking away the top 5 of us, and it's led by 2 Force Indians still going hammer and tong. This is absolutely insane. Ocon again on the outside of the second chicane to make a copycat move on Perez, but this time Perez comes back at him, and Perez now round the outside, and so this is insane. The 2 Force Indians are actually legitimately fighting so hard for the race lead here, and if they're not careful, we might spoil the party, and I'm hoping we can do, obviously, for our sake. And here we go. We might be able to just do that right about now as we go towards Ascari. We're trying to get the slipstream of Ocon, but we're boxed in now between Perez and Ocon here. Gonna have to break early and watch out for this. It's a lock up there from Perez there, and we get held up in Ascari. We're off circuit, and Vettel comes out of nowhere down my inside there to overtake us. He's up into P3, and now he might have a chance to have a pop into Parabolica on the 2 pink cars. There he goes, the home favourite there, Sebastian Vettel in the Scuderia Ferrari car. Obviously the Tifosi going wild as Vettel does take the race lead here at Monza. Perez down to P2, Ocon P3, myself, we're just about ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who's also joining the party there as the German sets us fast up for the Grand Prix. Then it's going to be Kevin Magnussen behind us there, going quite fast. So we do have some race pace here in the Haas car. But there goes Ocon now down the inside of Vettel, and Ocon is going to try and battle Vettel to get the lead back there. So Force India v Ferrari, not a phrase I thought I'd ever be saying there, but Ocon, I think he's got it. I think he's got the run on Sebastian Vettel. Meanwhile, we're still surviving in P3 here, just about ahead of Perez then, and a whole gaggle of cars of Ricciardo, Hamilton, I think also Räikkönen and Magnussen might just join the party as we go into the second chicane. Vettel takes the lead back there, so it's really just a swap fest here for first place there. I don't actually think someone's kept first place for longer than half a lap here around Monza, so unlike real life maybe, it's an absolute slipstream, an overtaking fest here in the race. The entire top 7 maybe could get the race win at this rate here as we now go across the line to maybe overtake Ocon now onto lap 4. How is it only lap 4? We've had this much action then as we try now go around the outside of Vettel. Might work out. Oh, he's left us a little bit of room. Didn't quite work in the end, and we get up into P2 then and squeeze that Esteban up into P2, and I'm hoping as I look behind me that maybe the Force Indians can fight some more and I can get away from them, and I think that might just happen here. And so I'm going to set my eyes then on my obviously championship rival apart from Kevin Magnussen, Sebastian Vettel in first place, try and spoil the party for him and Ferrari. But here goes then the fighting that I hoped for, the 2 Force Indians side by side. Look at that, Hamilton go down the inside of Ricciardo as well into Parabolica. So Merc v Red Bull on the exit, Force India v Force India, and right behind them, not too far off there, is Magnussen and Räikkönen, although Magnussen is pulled in for an early pit stop. So my teammate might be trying an aggressive 2-stop here compared to my very conservative 1-stop, so we'll have to see. But there goes Hamilton now down the inside of 1 Force India. Also Ricciardo though, I've completely missed that. Look at Ricciardo, he's overtaken both Hamilton and the Force India, and now Ricciardo's on the back of the second Force India. That's crazy. Ricciardo's overtaken 2 cars whilst they were trying to overtake each other, and so now he might get on the back of, I think that might be Ocon, I want to say. I can't quite tell. It's very, very difficult this year to tell which Force India is which because they have such similar helmets on the top there. But Ricciardo looks like to be putting up a good fight there and is very clever about his wits. Meanwhile, Vettel still leads the way from myself there in second place. But you can see visually, I am closing the gap there. But behind us, Ricciardo is ahead of that Force India. Not for too long though. Down the inside he goes there. And I think that is Sergio Perez, number 11, I can see there. And Ocon is just ahead of Räikkönen, who's being overtaken by Hamilton. So Räikkönen's getting stuck in with that fighting as well. Really good to see. So it's going to be Kimi v Hamilton v Ocon there as Räikkönen pulls to the left hand side there to overtake down the inside. Will Hamilton pull along? Yes, he will. It's going to be 3 wide nearly into turn 1. Will the Force India be squeezed out? Not quite. And now Ferrari and Mercedes go toe to toe, and quite like it was in the real life race, Räikkönen and Hamilton do battle here at Monza, and we'll have to see how that kind of shakes out then later into the race. We move on now onto our POV, back to our POV, onto lap 7 that is, and Vettel going pretty fast. Purple lap from him, but then purple lap from me as well, so we're both pushing each other very, very hard here in this Grand Prix now for the race lead. And as we move on directly to the same spot 2 laps later on lap number 9, here we come like an absolute rocket ship down the main straight into turn 1 to the inside as Vettel squeezes us to the inside there. Double lock up from us, and we just about managed to give Vettel enough room there. He's gone over the curbings and he's kept first place for now, but look at that, we get the traction pick up there. We're much better on the exit, and so we're going to get up into first place, and Vettel is down to second. Great stuff there. Ricciardo at the moment is in P3 because I think both Force Indias have already pit then for an earlier pit stop then, so we're going to drag this out until the end of lap 9 and come in, and Vettel I think is going to follow me in along with Ricciardo as well, so all 3 of us at the same time. So really nice multicoloured action going there. The Haas, the Ferrari and the Red Bull in on the same lap there as we go onto that famous podium here at Monza into our pit stop, and obviously we're going to medium tyres. Like I said, I think my teammate Magnussen might be trying a very audacious 2-stop, which I think might not be the best bet. I mean, he's going to have to go very, very fast. He did set it fast after the Grand Prix, to be fair, earlier on in the race before me and Vettel blitzed that time, so we'll see how that goes there. But at the moment, it's all kind of me v Vettel and maybe Ricciardo and the Force Indias, but speaking about Force Indias, I think they're still behind us there as we come out now in P4. To be fair, Magnussen's actually already jumped us then, so Magnussen on those soft tyres has actually jumped me, Vettel and Ricciardo, and also, well, evidently then the Force Indias probably on that 2-stop. So actually, you know what, it might actually work out if he's careful enough, so we'll have to see how that kind of shakes up there. We move on then later into that lap. Vettel pressurising me to no end there towards Ascari. He's on the outside then of me. Yellow flags up ahead though. A car is off. We're down the inside there. I can't overtake Vettel. And oh, it's Magnussen. He's off circuit. And Vettel has been held up a tree there. We just about managed to survive that. We slid across the track then. And I think Vettel has gotten held up there by Magnussen. And now Ocon, is trying to overtake me. I'm going to just accept the fact that I'm going to mistake the Force Indias for each other for the entirety of this episode. It's just so difficult to distinguish from their helmets there. But Ocon now is right behind us then, and he's trying to overtake us. But I'm still kind of perplexed about where on earth Vettel went there. It looks like he got trapped behind Magnussen, and I think it was Magnussen because he's not there on the top left anymore. So I think it was maybe K-Mag. I don't know if he had a bit of an issue with Ericsson maybe because that was the car ahead of us. But Ocon now has gone down our inside there, a bit defenseless into turn 1. But just like Raikkonen did on Hamilton in the real-life Grand Prix, we're going to come back at Ocon now through the curve on the right-hand side, and we're going to try and re-overtake him on the outside of the second chicane, and we will get that back up into the lead of the Grand Prix. But let's pause this now and quickly look at a replay then of what happened to Kevin Magnussen, and it was something to do with Marcus Ericsson then. Magnussen on the outside of Ericsson, much like Vettel tried to do on me into Ascari, so he's going to go clearly round him. He's already got the move done, but he locks up really badly, the front left there, huge lock up, and then Magnussen parks it up there, goes very, very slowly, and of course I think here at this point, yeah, that's where we come in. We slide in there, and look at the way my car slid across. I got very lucky because I was on the inside. Vettel was the one overtaking me on the right, so Vettel got really, really shafted there by just his decision to overtake me on the outside. And actually, obviously, I didn't know what was going to happen ahead of me. I didn't know there was going to be a car right there, but me being on the inside was amazing because here's an onboard shot now from Vettel on the outside there, and of course the way we made some contact into that corner then, I think, and Vettel, yeah, he's just kind of pushed off there into Magnussen, and then I think he gets a shove from behind even further. And then looking at a replay from onboard of Ocon then, we get a much better view then of what happened. I think Ocon also tried to get involved maybe in this. Look, he tries to suss a move maybe and just watches me slide then. I think there was some contact with me and Vettel that kind of pushed us either way, so I definitely got very, very lucky on that because I could have easily either been slammed into the wall on the left or I could have continued with Vettel into my own teammate. So yeah, definitely counting my lucky stars. But he's move on now to lap number 12. We are being swamped now by not only the Force India Ocon but also Hamilton there in the Merc and also Ricciardo's Red Bull racing car. So into turn 1 and 2s we lose first place for now, but can we try and get that back? If we stick with Ocon, and we should be able to re-overtake him hopefully. That's the beauty of here at Monza. You lose the position, not all hope is lost. As long as you stick with them and you have that lack of kind of drag in the car, you can re-overtake them with slipstream, and that's exactly what's going to happen here to us and Ocon here as we go down the inside of Parabolica to make the move for turn 1. A little bit of contact was made there, and so Ocon now has pushed aside and is now battling Ricciardo there, but fine margins were between me and the Frenchman, and somehow at the moment I'm still in first place of this hectic race. Literally 15 laps have gone and it's literally been non-stop action. There goes Raikkonen now, down the inside of Ricciardo, and Raikkonen might just go the whole way and make a double overtake there on Ocon as well on the top left. Watch that name tag pop up there. I think Kimi and S-Man are side by side on the exit there, and Raikkonen might just get that up into second place. Ocon down to third, and Ricciardo up down to fourth place. So really, just you could go anywhere in this race. That's why I still think that anyone could win this Grand Prix, maybe even down to Magnussen here, because Ricciardo was battling for P2 one moment, and then by the end of the next straight, he's down to P4. And look at that then, Ocon and Raikkonen still at it then for P2. Raikkonen trying to go the long way around, might just have the downforce for it, to be fair. Yes, he does, but Ocon's also going to keep his nose in and just about make it through. These guys are really flirting with an accident right here. There's a crash about to happen. I could just see it really with the AI being the AI, but Kimi's still battling away there, and all the while, all those guys are catching up behind. Look at that now, Ricciardo down the inside of Raikkonen, and Magnussen down the inside of Hamilton then. So my teammate Magnussen on the 2-stop is coming back into this Grand Prix. He's overtaken Hamilton, might get the slipstream of Raikkonen or Ricciardo, or both of them really, and so it might be a 3-wide moment. It's a parabolic here. Let's see. No, Raikkonen stays ahead, but it's a 3-wide moment for Hamilton. Hamilton down the inside, and Magnussen on the other side of Ricciardo. Ricciardo has just lost out big time there as Magnussen finds his way on the outside of Parabolica. The sparks are flying, and I literally cannot, I almost can't keep up with the amount of action here, because now Magnussen is going to overtake Hamilton. Can you guys calm down for a second? I actually can't fathom this much passing lap after lap. This is continuous overtaking. Magnussen down the inside now of Hamilton to try and get the traction down. He's on soft tire, V medium, so the hope is he could get that, and I think he will. Yes, he will. And so Magnussen up into P4, and so the battle for P2 brews on though. Ocon now down the inside with DRS to overtake Raikkonen. Pretty easy actually, might be down the inside to turn 1. Yes, he will. And the Force India back up into second place. They might have a look at me now soon enough as we move on to the end of that lap 18. And despite being in overtake mode in rich mix, Ocon has the legs. He has DRS, remember. Down the inside he goes. We break a little bit early to try and cut back in, but Ocon parks it mid-apex. Does really well to defend there. And I get loose on the curb, but Ocon's got engine failure. He's slow. Oh no, we've hit our front wing off. We've got a red front wing on the front left there. I couldn't have the reaction times enough to get past Ocon with the engine failure. And that is amazing though. Ocon got the lead of the Grand Prix, and like that, within 1 second he got an engine failure right in front of me. At the same time, I was losing the back end anyway. And so now we have to pit for a second time in this Grand Prix. And it's a forced 2-stop there. Ocon out of the race then. And now I'm going to have to pit onto a set of, softs or super softs, probably super softs. I think I have a decent fresh set left there, but the front left of the front wing broken, so I have to change that now. And so we're going to be down the order. I don't think it'll be too bad though. I think we'll still be in the points paying positions because that's how far up the order we were. But we're on to a set of soft tyres then, so I didn't have a set left of any other tyre then, and so we're coming through now, and we're P8 at the moment behind Magnussen and ahead of Sergio Perez then, and Perez pits as well, looks like. So Leclerc is the car behind me in P9, so that's not too bad. Still P8's not too bad, but let's look at a replay then and see what went on here. So, of course, we're on the outside, Ocon to the inside. All's normal here. He's making an overtake, and fair play. He made the overtake work, and he got me down the inside, parked the car really nicely mid-apex. But then here, one, I lose the back end on my own accord on the curbing there, but then at the same time, Ocon has the engine failure, and I just did not have the reaction time because I was already catching my own car from sliding, going over the curbing. So let alone Ocon, I was having to deal with trying to control my own car. And then at the same time, as soon as I straightened up, Ocon was going so slow, didn't have the time to react, and just slammed into the rear rim. So I mean, those things happen in racing. How many times have we seen AI make mistakes? So it's, you know, it's kind of in a way only fair that something like that happens to me eventually, but it's always still annoying, let alone, you know, it doesn't matter how fair it is to the AI, it's still really, really annoying there, because we had a race victory there probably, or at least a good podium, and now we're in P7. We've overtaken Sebastian Vettel, who's got major issues, but now, oh, hang on. We've got a full safety car now, with 3 laps to go though. I think that might mean we have a 1-lap dash here, you know. This might get very, very hectic. But we're up into P7 after overtaking Vettel. He had an issue, clearly, after his offing in this Grand Prix. But here we go now, on the restart. We're in P7, but look at this. All of us bunched up together, of course, for the restart of this safety car. And we've got a 1-lap sprint here. And I've had a very, very bad exit there as we've gone green. The tyres are not up to temperature, despite me shaking up the car a little bit there and weaving. I'm still still in P7. I'm now bolted away, or more like they've bolted away from me, as now Magnussen makes an overtake. Look at this. It's 2 by 2 by 2 there. Raikkonen v Hamilton, Alonso v Ericsson, and Ricciardo v Magnussen into turn 1. It's an absolute spectacle here at Monza. Amazing. And yes, you did hear that correctly. Alonso v Ericsson in the Sauber for P3 and P4 in this race, as Raikkonen and Hamilton go hammer and tong for the race lead, just like it was in the real-life Grand Prix. How poetic is that? Just like the real-life race, Raikkonen and Hamilton go toe-to-toe, but Raikkonen is the one ahead at the moment of Hamilton. And look at that, Alonso tries to go around the outside of the Swede Ericsson in the Sauber, but Ericsson is doing really well, to be fair to him, to defend from the Spaniard, and that's allowing Magnussen and Ricciardo to maybe jump in, as well as me as well. We're still there in the back, I remember, but all eyes at the moment on my teammate Magnussen as he tries to go down the inside of Alonso. Remember, this is the last lap of the Grand Prix, so this is a big bold move there from K-Mag, and he's on the outside then of Alonso in the middle of the Scari. Ricciardo slows down. We just about let off the throttle, and we overtake the Aussie man on the last straight then towards Parabolica, the last corner. Can we overtake Alonso maybe? As Alonso tries something on Magnussen, we're going to let off a little bit, and Alonso chops across us. We can't get him. We've got Ricciardo though, so I'm happy about that. We got P6 in the end. My teammate will come home in P4, but Raikkonen wins that. But what a hectic Italian Grand Prix that has been.
Well, I hope we can do better than that at the next race. Not our best day by any means.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
That was an absolutely amazing Italian Grand Prix. Absolute mayhem here at Monza. Raikkonen P1, Hamilton P2, Marcus Ericsson take a bow, P3 in this improving Sauber. You know, we said they might join the midfield there. Didn't think that quickly. Into P3 on the podium. Magnussen P4, Alonso P5, myself P6, Ricciardo there. Leclerc, double points paying positions for Sauber there today in P8 there. So Sauber might even jump, I think, maybe their rivals, or one of them at least, in the standings. So we'll have to see about that. Vettel does come home for points eventually in P10, with Bottas in the quiet one of P9. Verstappen way down the order compared to where his teammate was, but what a podium that is. But in the Drivers' Championship then, Magnussen gains on us a little bit, but it's not too much, not too significant, so that's still fine by me. You can see there Raikkonen overtakes Alonso then in the standings, so Alonso, unfortunately for him, down to P5 now after he's been in P4 in the standings for so long. Constructors wise then, we're still looking good. You know, we did the job. Raikkonen got a win though, so I think Ferrari maybe gained on us a little bit there. Mercedes actually surprisingly get back ahead of Red Bull. To say that Mercedes has been so woeful as of late, they get back ahead of Red Bull. But look at that, Sauber finally overtake Williams, and they're now chasing after Renault potentially. So good to see for their sake. You know, the Sauber team, you know, they're developing fast enough that they're actually legitimately becoming a midfield team there. So really good to see for their sake. But surprised, very surprised that Mercedes there overtook Red Bull, the constructors. Obviously Hamilton getting second place helped, but you know, Mercedes are very odd. They haven't upgraded too much this season. They've not really been there too often, but Hamilton's been getting these random good results here and there to help out there, so fair play. We're going to end up the episode then here, guys, so if you did enjoy that very hectic Italian Grand Prix, then smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Alva. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.